Greetings from Cheap Worms for Sale. Today, I'm going to show you the 3 most common worm species, who they are, what they like to do, and how they should be used. So first, we have our traditional redworms here, and these are the favored composting worm by far, by many. And normally you get about 1,000 to a pound, and they'll eat pretty much anything besides bread and meat. These, they love vegetables, fruits, paper, this, that, and whatever. But in nature, they could be found under cow pies, and that is the friendly way of saying cow manure. They're manure worms, and they prefer food that is of manure-like consistency. So if you, for example, cantaloupe, squash, they love soft fruits, they love soft vegetables, and that's what they're able to compost with most efficiency. If you're composting vegetables or paper, you definitely want to let it cook down and become that kind of sludgy feed before you give it to these guys. That's the only way to get the most out of them. And if you feed them correctly, a pound of redworms will eat a pound of that disgusting sludge every day, so you won't have to worry about smell or whatever. So that is the redworm, also known as the red wiggler, the tiger worm, etc., etc. Over here, we have the European nightcrawler, native to Europe, mostly Northern Europe, Netherlands, Holland, Northern Germany, etc., etc. They're a little bigger than their redworm counterparts. So there's a European nightcrawler, there's a redworm. They're definitely thicker. These guys will grow maybe 1 to 3 inches. These will grow more over from 2 to 4, possibly 5. These are carbon-loving worms. European nightcrawlers are your paper composters, your leaf composters, your lawn waste composters. If you have old leaves, grass clippings, cardboard boxes, magazines, whatever, they're going to eat it. They prefer that fibrous, carbon-rich content. So if you're going to be composting those things, you want European nightcrawlers. And the good news is that these are also the favorite bait worm, European nightcrawlers, because of their size, and they're very lively and they move around a lot. Here's a larger one right here. So if you want to grow your own bait while also composting, that is what you want to do, European nightcrawlers. And then over here, you have the gigantic, absolutely freaking ginormous Alabama jumper. And you got some baby Alabama jumpers sitting next to it. So there is a adult European nightcrawler next to the Alabama jumper. They're slow, they're low, they're slow. These guys, composting worms. They'll eat your compost, and they live in the top layer of the soil. They don't dig down deep. Alabama jumpers are earthworms. These are just regular earthworms. Maybe at one point they were native to Alabama, but they're living in my soil here in New Jersey, so I don't think they're that special. But they're called Alabama jumpers because if you mess with them a little too much, they start to wiggle around and jump. These are not compost worms. They do not do well in captivity at all. They dig down several feet deep, and they only really reproduce and they come to the surface in the summer months, and they prefer pre-composted leafy matter. So you'll find these guys under a pile of leaves after it rains, or under, these are the worms that you'll find under a rock or under on your driveway after it rains. The shriveled up worms, chances are it's an Alabama jumper, because they will either dig down or dig up to get away from the water, depending on where they are. As far as their commercial use, it really is limited to bait, just because they're absolutely, they're so big that, let's see if we get him to start. I thought maybe he would start jumping. But, yeah, all you could really use these guys for is bait. You could try to compost with them. I've tried, but they don't stay in the bin. Normally with these guys, if you keep a light over them, they dig down, they stay down, and you don't have to worry about it. But these guys, they're hard to feed because they like pre-composted stuff, and they don't listen. They're very naughty worms, so they will happily leave the compost bin, and I've tried everything. The only thing I've had minor success with the Alabama jumper is with that composted manure that you get from Home Depot or Lowe's. It's called Black Cow, and they seem to like that, but not enough to stay put for too long. After a while, they will eventually get restless. But also the difference is, you could tell the difference is the visible difference between the 3 beddings. This one's a little coarser, but a little more moisture. and that's just from the type of food, because the paper and the stuff we feed retains more water. This is, these red worms make the best worm castings, and these are wonderfully, beautifully refined worm castings from the vegetable and fruit that we feed them. But you'll notice that the Alabama Jumper, that is mud. That's clay. They like thick, compact soils, which is why they're also known as the brown nose worm, because they have strong noses that enables them to break up. So if you want aeration worms, Alabama Jumper, just because they will dig through hard clumps of soil, whereas these guys, they're kind of wimpy, and they like the stuff to be soft. So here you go. That's it. Red worms, European Nightcrawlers, Alabama Jumpers. If you have any questions, be sure to email us at support@cheapwormsforsale.com, and I hope you were able to learn something valuable today. Signing off, cheapwormsforsale.com. Thanks.